Daniel Snyder takes a public stance, and in his words, he says he will never change the name of the team.
On July 3rd, the announcement of the decision to change the name of the Washington Redskins was made official. The rumor had already been there for a few days because of the Black Lives Matter movement, and under pressure from the famous anti-racists who wanted to continue in the momentum after having obtained from Uncle Ben's and Aunt Jemima to evolve their brands to better fit this century. To add pressure on the shoulders of the Redskins leaders, celebrities and brands such as FedEx, Amazon or Nike asked the Redskins to change their name. And we talk about it in another video, but Nike allows itself to give lessons by removing the Redskins products from their stores. But if it were trendy, they would sponsor the KKK outfits. For now, they prefer Islamic veils and slavery in China. There are three important questions to ask. Why was this name chosen in the first place? Do Native Americans feel offended? What is the point of changing the name and who benefits from it? First, why was this name chosen in the first place? Initially, they changed the name of the team from Braves to Redskins to avoid confusion with the team nickname of their former city, Boston. The leaders wanted to have a name that referred to the Indians, but in 1933, there were few Native American names attached to sports teams. Even though they could have been called Indians, Warriors, or Chiefs, they chose Redskins because already 3 teams were called Chiefs, 2 used the name Braves, and 1 was called Red Warriors. They still could have kept the name Braves, but there was a rule in the NFL at that time that nicknames used by baseball teams were reserved for NFL teams in the same city. So Braves was only available to Bostonians, and therefore Indians was not available either. That doesn't mean that the name can be called racist. So let's move on the second question. Do Native Americans feel offended by this name? In 2016, the Washington Post polled Native Americans. Although the accuracy of their polls this year is known, they found that 9 out of 10 Native Americans were not offended by the name Redskins. The name Redskins is indeed not seen as something offensive to most Native Americans. It is seen more as a tribute, and if it's been around for that long, it should be. And that's where the third question comes in. If most Native Americans don't care about the name Redskins, what's the point and who benefits from changing it? In 2020, it is easier to call yourself a victim in order to get something than to fight for it. The Democrats have understood this and know how to use it. In order to be elected and to stay in power, they will support people and causes that will go in that direction under the pretext that they are on the side of the weak. They seek to oppose people by repeating to them that they are constantly oppressed because there is dominance. They use this technique in all areas, the rich and the poor, whites and blacks, men and women, straight and gay, etc. By bringing together as many so-called oppressed people as possible, Democrats increase their chances of being elected. This method risks, for example, convincing people that the name Redskins is racist, that they are oppressed, and that, as a result, society owes them something when basically they didn't care and lived their lives like everyone else. Well, the Redskins have already changed their name. They could have stood up to pressure from the left. But if they had, groups like the Sleeping Giants would have put pressure on their sponsors, who would have had no choice but to dissociate themselves. The Redskins would then have lost their founding and could have gone bankrupt. These are methods worthy of the Nazis and the communists. You know, as Lincoln said, America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we lose our freedoms, it will be because we have destroyed ourselves from within.